In the small town of Maplewood, everyone knew Eleanor Hartley. She was a kind woman with a warm smile. But her life changed forever when her husband, Thomas, passed away suddenly. Thomas was a dedicated scientist who had spent 30 years building a successful research lab. He loved his work and dreamed of making the world a better place through science. After Thomas's death, Eleanor felt lost. She wandered through their home, surrounded by memories of laughter and love. But soon, she discovered something shocking. Thomas's colleague, Dr. Victor Lane, had taken control of everything Thomas had worked for. He claimed that Thomas had left the lab to him in a verbal agreement. Eleanor couldn't believe it. How could someone she trusted betray her like this? Eleanor felt a mix of anger and sadness. The lab was not just a place of work. It was a part of Thomas's life. It held years of research, experiments, and dreams. She remembered how excited Thomas was when he talked about his projects. Now, it felt like all of that was slipping away. Desperate for help, Eleanor decided to fight back. She remembered a local attorney named Sarah Mitchell. Eleanor had helped Sarah with a community project years ago. Sarah was known for her strong sense of justice and her determination to help those in need. Eleanor hoped that Sarah would be willing to help her. Eleanor called Sarah and explained her situation. Sarah listened carefully, her voice filled with concern. "I'll help you, Eleanor. We will get to the bottom of this," she said. Eleanor felt a glimmer of hope. With Sarah by her side, she believed they could uncover the truth. They met at a small cafe in town. Over coffee, Eleanor shared everything she knew about Thomas's work and Dr. Lane's actions. Sarah took notes, her brow furrowed in concentration. "We need to gather evidence," she said. "We'll need documents, emails, anything that shows Thomas's true intentions." Eleanor nodded, determined to find the truth. She spent days going through Thomas's papers, searching for clues. She found old emails where Thomas expressed his desire to leave the lab to her. He had written about his dreams for the future, how he wanted to create a foundation to support young scientists. Eleanor's heart ached as she read his words. This was not just about the lab. It was about honoring Thomas's legacy. With Sarah's guidance, they began to build their case. They discovered that Dr. Lane had forged documents, pretending that Thomas had given him control of the lab. Sarah was furious. "This is a clear case of fraud," she said. "We will take this to court." As the court date approached, Eleanor felt a mix of fear and determination. She had never been in a courtroom before. What if they lost? But she remembered Thomas's passion for his work and how much he believed in justice. She couldn't let Dr. Lane win. On the day of the trial, Eleanor sat nervously in the courtroom. The judge entered, and everyone stood. Sarah sat beside her, offering a reassuring smile. The trial began, and Dr. Lane's lawyer presented his case. He spoke confidently, trying to convince the judge that Thomas had wanted to give the lab to Dr. Lane. But Sarah was ready. She presented the evidence they had gathered, including the emails from Thomas. The courtroom was silent as the judge read through the documents. Eleanor's heart raced. Would the judge believe them? After hours of testimony, it was time for the judge to make a decision. Eleanor held her breath, praying for justice. The judge looked at both sides and then spoke. "It is clear that Dr. Lane acted dishonestly. The evidence shows that Thomas Hartley intended for his lab to go to his wife, Eleanor." Eleanor felt a wave of relief wash over her. The judge ruled in her favor, and the lab was returned to her. Tears of joy filled her eyes as she hugged Sarah tightly. "We did it!" she exclaimed. With the lab back in her hands, Eleanor knew she had a new mission. She wanted to honor Thomas's legacy and help young scientists just like he had dreamed. She transformed the lab into a foundation, providing grants and support for aspiring researchers. It became a place of innovation and hope. Eleanor often thought of Thomas and how proud he would be. She shared his story with everyone who visited the lab, inspiring them to follow their dreams. The foundation grew, and soon, it became a beacon of light in the community. Through her journey of loss and betrayal, Eleanor discovered her strength. She learned that even in the darkest times, hope and justice could prevail. With Sarah's help, she had fought for what was right and had turned her pain into purpose. As the years passed, Eleanor continued to honor Thomas's memory. She held annual events at the lab, celebrating the achievements of young scientists. Each success reminded her of the love and dedication Thomas had poured into his work. Eleanor's story became known in Maplewood, a tale of resilience and justice. People admired her courage and determination. She had turned a tragedy into a triumph, proving that love and hope could conquer even the greatest challenges. We appreciate your time and attention, and in the end, Eleanor Hartley was not just a widow. She was a symbol of strength and justice. She had fought for her husband's legacy and had created a lasting impact on the world. And in her heart, she knew that Thomas would always be with her, guiding her as she continued to make a difference. As the trial progressed, Eleanor felt a mix of anxiety and determination. Sarah, her attorney, worked tirelessly to build a strong case. They gathered evidence, including emails and documents that clearly showed Thomas's intentions. Each piece of evidence painted a picture of a man who had dedicated his life to science and had always planned to leave his legacy to his beloved wife. On the day of the trial, the courtroom was tense. Dr. Lane's lawyer presented his arguments, trying to convince the judge that Thomas had verbally agreed to hand over the lab. But Sarah was prepared. She methodically presented their evidence, highlighting the emails where Thomas expressed his wishes. The judge listened intently, occasionally glancing at Eleanor, who sat nervously at the front. When it was Eleanor's turn to testify, she took a deep breath and spoke from her heart. My husband worked tirelessly for 30 years. This lab was his dream, and he wanted to share it with me. Dr. Lane's actions are not just a betrayal. They are a theft of my husband's legacy. The judge nodded, clearly moved by her words. After hours of deliberation, the moment of truth arrived. The judge announced, "It is evident that Dr. Lane acted dishonestly. The evidence shows that Thomas Hartley intended for his lab to go to his wife, Eleanor." Eleanor felt a rush of relief and joy. Justice had been served. The lab was returned to her, and she could finally honor Thomas's memory as he had intended. With the lab back in her hands, Eleanor transformed it into a foundation dedicated to supporting young scientists. She named it the Thomas Hartley Foundation, ensuring that his legacy would live on. The foundation provided grants, mentorship, and resources for aspiring researchers, just as Thomas had dreamed. Eleanor often reflected on her journey, from a grieving widow to a woman who fought for justice. She held annual events at the lab, celebrating the achievements of young scientists and sharing Thomas's story. Each success reminded her of the love and dedication he had poured into his work. As the years passed, Eleanor became a respected figure in the community. People admired her courage and resilience. She had turned her pain into purpose, proving that even in the darkest times, hope and justice could prevail. Eleanor's story became a beacon of inspiration, showing others that it's never too late to fight for what is right. She had not only reclaimed her husband's legacy but had also created a lasting impact on the world. In her heart, she knew that Thomas would always be with her, guiding her as she continued to make a difference. In the end, Eleanor Hartley was not just a widow. She was a symbol of strength, justice, and love. Through her journey, she learned that true justice is not just about winning a battle. It's about honoring the memories of those we love and making the world a better place in their name. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Eleanor Hartley's story. Your support and engagement mean the world to us. We hope that Eleanor's tale of resilience, justice, and love has inspired you as much as it has inspired us. In a world where challenges can feel overwhelming, remember that hope and determination can lead to remarkable change. Eleanor's fight for her husband's legacy reminds us all of the power of standing up for what is right. We encourage you to carry this message of strength and justice into your own lives. Together, we can make a difference and honor the memories of those we love. Thank you for being a part of this story. Your presence makes it all worthwhile. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch and listen to this story. Your support, attention, and presence mean more than words can express. Every view, like, and comment helps bring these stories to life. I truly appreciate you for being here. Until the next story, stay safe, stay curious, and thank you for being part of this journey. Please follow us by subscribing to our channel using the subscribe button.